First game we're going to look at, the Dolphins defeated the Patriots 31-17. Mac Jones was 19 of 29, 161 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 1 interception. I don't think there's very many people out there rostering Mac Jones at this point. Rhamondre Stevenson had 10 carries for 39 yards. Just more of the same with him and Ezekiel Elliott. 7 carries for 36 yards for Zeke. Zeke edging out Rhamondre as far as yards per carry. He had 5.1 to Rhamondre's 3.9. Demario Douglas had a carry for 4 yards. More on him in a bit. And Mac Jones had a carry for -2. Kendrick Bourne went down with a knee injury. He might be out a while, so I think Demario Douglas is going to be a really interesting name. Pop Douglas, as a lot of people call him. He is going to be the number 1 receiver taking over for Kendrick Bourne. If Kendrick Bourne misses, he is a pretty solid add. But it's going to be a lot of this with him. High catches, low yards. So get ready for that. He's going to be more effective in a PPR league, of course. Kendrick Bourne, 3 catches, 36 yards, and a touchdown. Solid output for him. But again, this might be Demario Douglas's workload here shortly. Farrell Brown, 2 catches, 33 yards on 2 targets. Hunter Henry, he had 3 catches for 28 yards on 3 targets. I think he is a pretty clear drop at this point after a hot start to the season. Disappointing there. Devontae Parker had a catch for 14 yards. And Demario Douglas, like we were talking about earlier, 7 targets for him is really good. 5 catches, only 25 yards though. That's going to be more of what we see going forward on a bigger scale. And Mike Gesicki had 2 catches for 11 yards. Rhamondre, disappointing stuff here. I was hoping to see a little bit more as far as receiving volume from Rhamondre, but just the 2 catches for 11 yards for him. He's like right on that border between, like, I understand if you're in like an 18 league and you need the roster space to drop Rhamondre. I would still hold on to him in a 10 team, but I would understand if you were to drop him. Juju just had the 1 catch for 3 yards and a touchdown. He was rostered a lot at the beginning of the year, but he is also a safe drop. And Jaylen Reagor did not haul in either of his 2 targets. So basically, anyone on the Patriots you have, I can understand dropping him. Rhamondre is going to be the best option, but even he is like just teetering on the border between rosterable and unrosterable. Demario Douglas, it's going to be really interesting to see what he does going forward. For the Dolphins, Tua Tagovailoa was 30 of 45, 324 yards, 3 touchdowns and an interception. We are playing Tua every single week. Unless you're just loaded at quarterback where you have Mahomes or Jalen Hurts or something like that, Tua is an every week play. And Raheem Mostert, 13 carries, 46 yards and a touchdown. Good to see that touchdown saving his day there. Jeff Wilson getting more involved, 5 carries, 23 yards. He is a phenomenal stash at this point, but he's still not really getting close to Raheem Mostert's carries. That could change because Jeff Wilson last year did get a whole lot of volume with Raheem Mostert in the lineup. So incremental improvements with these carries. Last week didn't get any. This week getting 5. It's going to be interesting to see what next week's carries are going to look like, but I wouldn't play him outside of like super desperate scenarios. Tua had 6 carries for 8 yards, and Salvon Ahmed, he's a clear drop, 2 carries for 1 yard. Jaylen Waddle, phenomenal day. This was his best game of the year. 7 catches, 121 yards, and a touchdown on 12 targets. Just monster stuff from him. Keep playing him. Tyreek Hill, 8 catches, 112 yards, and a touchdown. He also passed 1,000 yards receiving for the year. He is arguably the best player in fantasy. This is low output for Tyreek Hill. 8 catches, 112 yards. Usually we see Jaylen Waddle getting low and Tyreek Hill just getting fed like crazy. So maybe this is the start of Jaylen Waddle getting back into this passing game a little bit more. But I still value Tyreek Hill as one of the best, if not the best player in fantasy right now. Durham Smythe, 3 catches for 28 yards on 3 targets. Salvon Ahmed making up for his lack of carries here with 4 catches on 16 yards. Still not a rosterable player. And Chase Claypool, also not rosterable. 1 catch on 15 yards and 2 targets. Jeff Wilson, good to see him getting involved in the passing game. 2 catches for 14 yards. Interesting that Raheem Mostert didn't get any catches in this one. I wonder if there's going to be a Jeff Wilson role in the passing game going forward, and Salvon Ahmed is going to take more of a backseat in this next game. That'll be something I'm going to watch out for. And Braxton Berrios, 2 catches for 8 yards on 3 targets. Alec Ingold had a catch for 5. Julian Hill had a catch for 4. And Cedrick Wilson had the touchdown catch for 1 yard. He is not rosterable in most scenarios outside of like crazy deep leagues because Chase Claypool already getting more targets than him. It's looking like he's going to get more involved in this passing game. But at the end of the day, it is still Tyreek Hill, Jaylen Waddle, both every week plays.